Welcome back to the Farm to Table Show Morning Edition, where dirt under your nails means you're doing something right, and we believe that freedom starts at home. I'm Ryan, and this morning we're diving headfirst into the honest to goodness truth that homesteading ain't for wimps. That's right, it's not easy. It's not always sourdough starters and baby goats and sweaters. It's sweat, it's setbacks. It's sometimes standing in the middle of your field wondering what on earth you just signed up for. So grab that coffee, grab your boots, and let's get into it. Good morning, everyone. You know what they say? They show you on social media a golden sunset over a chicken coop, a smiling family with a basket full of fresh eggs, bread rising on the wood stove. It all looks so simple, peaceful, romantic. But here's the thing. Instagram forgot to mention that before that golden sunset, somebody spent 6 hours chasing a goat with a prolapsed uterus. Somebody else was crying in the barn because the third batch of meat birds died overnight in a surprise cold snap. And those eggs in the basket, they didn't show the raccoon attack the night before, or even the hawk that you had to shoo off with a broom. Homesteading is not the easy life, it's the intentional life, and intention takes work. Now, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely 100% worth doing, but you better believe we're going to tell you the truth about what it takes. Because if you're going to walk this path, you need to know you're not doing it wrong. It really is just this hard sometimes. The learning curve is steep. Let's talk about that knowledge. When you jump into homesteading, you realize real quick just how much you don't know. There's no manual for this. There's no how to raise chickens, garden, butcher a hog, fix a tractor, milk a cow, and build a fence all before breakfast book. And even if there was, it would need updates every week. YouTube helps for sure, but you learn real fast that no two gardens are the same. What worked for a guy in Kentucky might flop in Oklahoma. What they swear by in upstate New York turns into a mess down in Texas. Texas. Anyway, soil is different. Water is different. Microclimates are different. You have to learn your land, and that takes years. You can read all you want about composting, but nothing replaces the smell test. Ooh, nothing. Listen, and then there's livestock. If you ever watched a goat go from perfectly fine to we got to call the vet or the pastor in 3 hours flat, then you know what I'm talking about. The curve is steep and it's humbling, but every mistake is a teacher. Every busted tomato plant, every busted water line, every busted ego, they're shaping you into a real deal homesteader and farmer. This job, it pays in potatoes, let's be honest. Because homesteading is a full time job that often doesn't pay like one. The ROI here isn't in dollars, not usually. You grow your own food, raise your own meat, maybe sell some eggs at the farmer's market. And that's all great. But if you track the hours, if you track the inputs, the feed, the fencing, the vet bills, the time, you'd realize you just put in 60 hours to earn 3 dozen eggs and a zucchini. But here's the flip side. You also earned resilience. You earned independence. You earned the peace of mind that comes from knowing you don't have to run to the store when things go sideways. Still, it's not glamorous. It's not lucrative, but it is sustainable, but not in the retire at 50 kind of way. You'll work in the rain. You'll fix fences at midnight. You'll haul water when the pipes freeze. You'll spend hours butchering a pig only to nick a tendon and ruin the ham. But then one night you'll sit down at a table filled with food you raised, and it hits you. This is wealth, even if the bank account doesn't show it. Now here's where we get real. Homesteading isn't just hard on your back, it's hard on your heart. There are days when the animals you raised from babies don't make it. Days when a storm wipes out your crops. Days when you put in 16 hours and it still feels like a failure. You lose sleep over things like heat lamps, more busted water lines, or predator tracks in the mud. And let's be honest, there's loneliness. A lot of homesteaders, when we're out in the country, far from friends and family, the conveniences of town, you're doing a hard thing, often in isolation. And oftentimes your greatest accomplishment, you were the only one to see it. The conversations that used to fill your days are replaced by the sound of roosters and the hum of a dehydrator. And some of you are doing this with family, which is awesome, and that definitely helps. But even then, we know the weight gets heavy. Spouses get tired, kids get bored, and tensions rise when the truck won't start, the dog gets skunked, and the well pump burns out all in 1 week. And still, you keep showing up. Why? Because you're building something that matters. But you have to know this life will cost you, and that's okay. Just don't pretend it's easy. Now, let's talk about comparison. You'll see another homestead's greenhouse set up and think, we'll never get there. You see someone milking 3 cows before dawn with a smile and think, why am I such a mess? But what if you watched polished YouTube tours with tiny garden rows and happy pigs and think, am I even doing this right? But listen, here's the deal. You're seeing the highlight reel. You're seeing the cleaned up version. No one posts the days they broke down sobbing in the pasture. I think of a story of a friend of mine who was talking about planting rows upon rows of tomatoes, and he literally couldn't see in the end, and he was just down on his knees crying of how was he ever going to get all this done. So it happens, that's for sure. No one shows the argument over how many roosters to keep, or the mold that ruined the pantry shelf, or the dog that took out the chicken tractor. Comparison to others, it'll rob you of your joy, and it'll make you forget how far you've come. So here's your permission slip to stop measuring your homestead by someone else's progress. Measure it by your own growth, your own grit, because the truth is, nobody's got it all together. And if they say they do, they're either fibbing or fresh out of a hard season. Now for the good part. I went through all that. You get to go to the good part with me. Yes, it's hard, but it's also holy. There's something sacred about planting a seed and watching it grow, about putting your hands in the soil and realizing that that dirt's part of you now. There's a strange kind of joy that comes when you finally fix something you used to pay someone else to fix. When your hands are strong and your kids know how to work and your freezer's full because of the work you put in. You know how most folks panic when the power goes out or the shelves go bare? Homesteaders, light a candle, grab some jars, and get on with it. And there's a pride in that. And it's not about prepping, and it's not about politics, but it's all about purpose. It's about returning to a way of life that says, I don't have to outsource everything. I can learn, I can grow, I can fail and still keep going. And homesteading builds that into you. And that's when it's worth it. Because there's a moment, if you've been at it for a while and you've had this moment, you're standing in the garden at dusk, the birds are chirping, the tomatoes are heavy on the vine, maybe a loaf of bread is cooling on the porch. You hear the kids laughing in the barn, playing in the yard, maybe the chickens settling in for the night. You breathe deep. That day was long, but the food is real, the work is honest, and the reward isn't in a paycheck. It's in that moment right there. And that's when you realize it's worth it. Not easy, but definitely worth it. You've traded convenience for connection. You've swapped hustle for harvest. And you've learned that slow growth is still growth. And you know that tomorrow is going to be another challenge. Them goats, they're going to get out again. And the onions might rot. But you've got the grit for it. Not because you're, you know, easy, but because you're not just building a homestead, you're building a life. So to the weary homesteader, the discouraged dreamer, the tired family who wonders if you're the only one scraping by in buck boots and prayer, hear this. You're not alone. This path is hard, but it's good. This life is slow, but it's strong. And the fruit it bears, well, it's sweeter than anything you'll find on a store shelf. So let's keep going, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because homesteading ain't easy. Homesteading ain't for wimps. But it's worth every blister, every heartbreak, every muddy magical moment. And that is why homesteading ain't for wimps. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning to all my friends over here in the chat. It's been active over there. I've been watching it move. Uh, let's see. Good morning. I'm going to start at the top. Good morning, Robbie, Wild Huckleberry. Good morning, Joy Bartlett. Morning, Scotty. Good to see you in. Good morning, Money Pit Homestead. Nice to have you with us and doing well today. And yes, Scotty, definitely think before you jump into it. But hey, good morning, David and Holly, whichever one is with us, the Lacey family over there. Good morning, everyone. Homestead full of frustration, tears, death, however, full of new life. I'm going to pull that up. That was a good one. Full of frustration, tears, death, however, it's also full of new life, love, faith, and reward. That's it. That's the honest answer. Let's see who else we got in here. Good morning, Ed Kirkpatrick. How's things going out east? I hope well. Let's see. So be prepared for some sleepless nights. Yep. And let's see, talking about that. Let's see what Lisa had to say. Don't sure tell you how your sore body is each morning because carrying buckets of feed, hay, etc. wears out your body. Yes, it does. Uh, One rooster's enough. They make too much noise. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Robbie, you're right. Homesteading while still working a full-time job, and that's what most people are doing. Most people, they don't, they're not doing it full-time. It is full-time, but they've also got a full-time job in the middle or around, and it's hours in the morning and it's hours in the evening, splitting up tasks, uh, getting things done. Anyway, I like that. You don't want too many, but love hearing my roosters crow. A lot of that answer right there depends on how many hens you've got. There is a rooster to hen ratio that you need to keep mindful of. That I've told one for no less than five. I mean, 1 to 5 is like the biggest rate, but typically 1 to 8, 1 to 10, because I learned a pretty rough fact about the old hens. Uh, they'll pick the rooster they like. And if that's the one that they like and that's the one that's going to be, and if there's too many roosters, I've been told they'll actually pick the eyes out of the roosters they don't like. And which of course renders them defenseless and also they can't find the feed, so they die. So yeah, your rooster to hen ratio definitely matters. That's some of that research. Sometimes you got to learn the hard way. I was fortunate to be given heads up on that. So when the chickens come, the rooster count definitely matters. So roosters, as far as I'm concerned, they end up on the dinner plate. Other than the one keeping a couple around. But anyway, so yeah, and there is something about hearing them crow, and I'm usually probably going to be up at or before they are anyway, so that's not a problem. But anyway, so definitely hope you all are doing well today. But anyway, just that subject, that it's not easy, and it's not for wimpy people. You got to be able to get out and deal with some things. But as um, Gloria Hill said, it's full of new life, love, and faith and reward, and that's why you do it. Is for the days when things go right. And so again, that's the payout later. And sometimes it's not even intangible things. But let's move on forward. We're doing well this morning. We'll get on over to the redneck weather report. I hope everybody is safe. I know we've had a lot of wild weather, and I guess we got some more wild weather coming. But let's head on over to uh, wow, lost my thought. Head over to Dyer Family Farm and check in for the redneck weather report. Uh, all right, let's see. Here we go. I'll read that comment in just a minute there. Let's see. Scroll that up. Got to see Jack's smiling face. All right.
Good morning, rednecks. It is 56 degrees this morning and raining. Got thunderstorms, lots of lightning, and could be tornadoes. It is April 30th, 2025. Got a 9-mile-an-hour eastern wind making it feel like it's 47, and we're going to get to 70 today. Y'all be safe. God bless y'all. We'll see you.
All right. Yeah. Uh, let's see. I'm going to go back over here. Everything you mentioned is so true. That's why we call her Money Pit Homestead. Still love this lifestyle. Yes, Scotty. Anything that is really worth it is never easy. Uh, and David and them, let's see, very wet with rain, but I'm not complaining. No, we need the rain. And good morning, Tracy. How y'all doing over there, or up there, I should say? Hope all is well there. Yeah, we are definitely expecting rain throughout the day. We had some yesterday, little light bit of rain, and we're expecting some more the next few days. But I did see concern, especially down in certain parts of Oklahoma. I know uh, Hippocalier Homestead, Chris and Dodge didn't do their live last night because they had some bad weather coming through, and I think it was messing with their signal. But anyway, they were so definitely, and they seem to be in the path of all the bad weather. I don't know, but so either way, we want everybody safe, and hopefully, nothing wrong with a little bit of rain, too much rain. We all know what happens, and definitely them twisters. We don't want any of that. So prayers for everybody's safety on that. Looking forward to some sunshine this weekend, though. I've got grass to take care of, and I got some other things to have to take care of this weekend that I need sunshine, at least for a couple of days. But anyway, uh, so let's move right on in. I'm gonna slide past the weather, and I'm gonna do this homestead hack. Now, there's many of you who this is nothing new to. In fact, I debated whether to read this hack because many of you have already done it. I heard about y'all. Heard y'all talking about it in lives and stuff long before I would have ever known anything about that. But anyway, today's homestead hack is the egg freshness test. Now, here it is. Float your eggs to check for freshness. And how it works: fill a bowl with water, gently place an egg in. Fresh eggs, they sink and lay flat. Older eggs stand upright or float. And the reason why is over time, air seeps into the shell. More air equals more float. A tip: slightly older eggs are actually better for hard boiling because they peel easier. I did not know this. Things that we learn. But I know, like I said, many of y'all know that trick. I've heard Jack with Dyer Family Farm and different ones talking about it. And one of these days, I'm going to have somebody. I mean, I read up on it, so I know what it is. But we'll talk about maybe candling eggs one day and kind of what that does. But quite an interesting thing that I've on the long list of things I've learned in the last 2 years. And I was having a conversation with Dwayne Hall yesterday, and we were talking, and I said, I said, it's hard to come on the show and talk about some of this stuff because I've not done it. But I've been around so many of y'all for the last 2 years that I feel like that, I know there's nothing like really doing it, but man, I feel like my knowledge base has grown and that I'm more prepared for the plans going forward than I would have been 2 years ago or 3 years ago or more. Because the knowledge that y'all so willingly share, and even on the lives when y'all get to talking chickens or get to talking those different things that I'm learning, so that's why I'm quiet, and so that's not always what's going to happen because y'all know I like to talk. But anyway, it's good to pass that knowledge on. So that was the egg freshness test and the Homestead hack. Now, the quote of the day, of course, as always, I try to get them into things that tie up with what we got going on. And today's quote is: "The best education does not happen at a desk, but rather engaged in everyday living, hands on exploring, and in an active relationship with life." That was said by Vince Gauman. And I think that's true. You'll learn more getting out and doing and being active with life than you'll ever learn sitting behind a desk. Um, that'd get me off on another thing if I let it. But anyway, let's see where are we at here. Yeah, yeah, Lisa, I didn't have any I didn't have any doubt of why y'all called it Money Pit Homestead. Uh, everything is there's always something, and uh, I'm in, like I said, fixing up an old house and an older property and having to bring it back from, well, basically neglect and over time, and it is intentional, and it is some days maddening, but and I'm sure that my wife will be super happy when we're finally done. I know I will be, as far as with the house. But and then I look around on the property, and I have a hard time with what I talked about a while ago, not comparing myself to where I should be, or what I didn't get done, or how far behind I feel like I am every day with stuff around here. But you just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and that's all we can do. And so, and yeah, hands on is really the best way to learn. I like to get in the middle of things I'm learning. Yes, absolutely. Uh, I like reading and I like listening and learning, but ultimately, hands on, getting my hands in the middle of it are definitely some of the best ways. I always say my parents, my dad, my parent mom, they gave me a lot of base knowledge, taught me the basics, got me started on things. They showed me how to do some things. There's still things I do the way my dad taught me. But that was that beginning knowledge, and then getting the hands on and growing. You know, uh, I never learned much from him telling me how to do it. It was usually him having me do it and him watching and making sure I did it right or didn't hurt myself doing it. So there you go. That's usually what works best there. We're going to go ahead and move on into upcoming events. I'm still seeing 10 killer YouTube meetup videos and shorts popping up. Um, and so enjoying looking at that as we were there, and it was a great weekend. And right around the corner, right around the corner, May 16th through the 18th, Mid America YouTube meetup in Lake Eufaula State Park at the Deep Fork Campground Pavilion. May 16th, 18th. MT Homestead is the host. You can reach them at mthomesteadok at gmail.com. But you can also find it on Facebook. Just search out Mid America YouTube Meetup. They've got the schedule of events and all that stuff going on out there. So, check that one out. That's going to be another great one. A lot of good people coming into that, hang out. I'm not committing to it because, well, that's just how I have to do. May try to go up for one day, but not sure. Anyway, May 17th, same weekend, fifth annual uh, Shed Farm Homestead Festival, May 17th, Garland, Kansas. Uh, that one looks like it's going to be a good little event. I want to read this. Scotty, yeah, YouTube, plenty of videos to look up on things too. I will promise you, I go to YouTube quite frequently for how to's. And even stuff that I've done, off and on through my life, things I know how to do, but I go back for that refresher. Or when I'm working on vehicles, something specific to a particular vehicle or something. Yeah, I'm digging the videos. Same thing out here with getting ready to build something or getting ready to have an idea of how to do. I am definitely watching the videos as much for a refresher and kind of okay, or seeing how somebody did something different, maybe a different way of doing things than what I did. So definitely worthwhile. Uh, June 6th through 7th, the Homestead Festival, Hardison Mills near Columbia, Tennessee. That is at Roy Feek's place. That's going to be a good event, huge event, and a lot of speakers there. It's going to be a good one. Would like to be there, but it's just not going to happen this year. But if you're in the Tennessee area or you want to go to a big festival, that's a good one. Modern Homestead Conference, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, June 27th through 28th. Find out more information at modernhomesteading.com. That is a great one out in the West out there. Again, great lineup. Skipping up to Ozarks Homesteading Expo, September 5th and 6th, Marshfield, Missouri. That one's a good event as always. I expect this is year number 6, and they do a great job up there. Dwayne and I were talking about that one a little bit yesterday, and that'll be the next time he and I are in the same place. But we're looking forward to being up there for that. And then, of course, Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, September 26th and 27th at the Southeast Expo Center, McAllister, Oklahoma. I will be seeing many of you there. If it's not on your calendar, I urge you to put it on there. It is a great event. It was good last year, really good, and I expect it to be much, much better this year. The speakers that are coming in and lining up are great. We're getting vendors, sponsors, everything is just lining up to make this a really great rendezvous this year. And I did see Friday night's going to be a music festival. They're trying to get entertainment in, trying to get some people in to play music and stuff on Friday evening. So that'll be neat. Homesteaders of America Conference, October 10th and 11th, Front Royal, Virginia. That is the granddaddy of them all, the one that got it started, and a lineup second to nobody there. So I definitely encourage you, if you're looking for one, to put that one on your list. I do believe there's still a few handful of tickets left, but I will check up on that this week. Haven't clicked on their site in a while, so I need to and check and make sure it's updated. We'll read this before we get out of here. Let's say comparing what you have and what you've built is not useful. I'm not a great builder. When I see what some of my friends have built, they look so much better than what I've built, but at least mine are functional. And yes, there's form and there's function, Robbie. And I remember my mom wanted cabinets in her house were an old house she was living in. Her and my dad were living in. Were in terrible shape, and I was paying her back with some labor, paying her back for something. And yes, thank you, Trish. Hit the thumbs up. But anyway, she wanted me to build her some just counters, just some function, And I said, "Well, Mom, do you want form? You want them to look good, or you just care about function?" And she said, "I don't care what they look like. I just need them to work." So I built her a big long countertop, real wide, heavy duty wood. Put her in some shelves, put a new sink base in. Like I said, it wasn't the prettiest looking thing, but it did the job. And she went back later and took care of paint and things like that. But sometimes that's it. And I remember listening to Joel Salatin talk about how he's not that great of a builder. His stuff looks rough, where his son's stuff, Daniel, looks great. He's got that building, but an ability to put that stuff. So yeah, definitely not comparing when it comes to that, because I'm having to do that kind of work in my house because, well, that's in my house and I want it to look a certain way. But when I'm building out there on the property, it's about, does it work? And that's where we need to be about sometimes, is making sure that it works and it does what it's supposed to do. Decoration and pretty and getting better at it can come later. But functionality is what it's all about. So anyway, appreciate everybody in the chat. Second Saturday in September. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Money Pit. I know Lorraine Shehawk, I believe, is going down. That may be the one she's going to. I know she's going to one down there in Kentucky somewhere. So I'm going to put let's see, second Saturday in September is the Heartland Homesteader Meetup Picnic in Grand Rivers, Kentucky. All right. So for those that are out on the eastern side, like Money Pit and them are, that's something definitely to put on your list. That's second Saturday. Well, September's a busy month. There's a lot going on. So anyway, for those of you who maybe you're closer to there than you are to some of the other things going on, that might be a good one to check out right there. So I bet that's a good time. So anyway, yes, Scotty, looks aren't everything. But anyway, so folks, we're going to get on out of here. I'm loving the chat, love hanging with y'all guys. But that is a wrap for today on the Farm to Table Show Morning Edition. Thanks for joining us as we strive towards building stronger communities for now and for in the future. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit that like button. Give me the old thumbs up down there. Share it with your friends. Please tell your friends all about it. And I know many of your friends are already on here with us, but share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. It is the best way to stay connected, help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. Lisa, Money Pit, everybody else as well. Great to see you all in this morning. But some people we get in for the first time or haven't been in a long time. We definitely like to give them attention for that and say appreciate seeing you here. Look forward to seeing you again. And definitely all of you guys, look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. So until next time, keep your roots deep and your vision growing. Good food starts with great people just like you. Remember, we are #stronger together. Be a blessing to someone. And folks, we will see you all on the other side. And we're going to hand it over to Hank to take us on out of here.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.